At 1 a.m. on April Fool's Day, which makes this too easy, a sitting congresswoman, Democrat, who calls herself America's number one most bipartisan member of Congress, posted something on social media that her own team deleted before breakfast. Well, I have it. We're going to read it together. Now, quick question before we start. Type yes or no in chat right now. Should a member of Congress lose their seat over what they post on social media at 1 in the morning? Yes or no? Drop it now. Now, we're going to be reading your chat in real time. So rush your chat in there so you make it, your chat makes it to the read before we end the live stream. Stay till the end because the moment that makes this story is not the post itself. It's what she said after she deleted it. That's what we're building to. Okay. So let's go. Now, here's the post that broke the internet. All right. Here she is reacting to an Associated Press statement here that essentially says breaking Donald Trump to attend Wednesday's Supreme Court hearing on birthright citizenship, making him the first sitting president to attend oral arguments at the nation's highest court. Now, we're going to read a comment later that essentially corrects this because he's not the first president to do so. Now, Susie Lee posts this. Okay, now this is classy. All right, so this is what she posts. All right, so blanking blanked up. I'll pray they blank him to his face. Sorry, I say blank a lot these days. Now, that's a sitting member of Congress, guys. And she posted that at 1:03 in the morning on her personal account, replying to this story about a sitting president attending the Supreme Court. Is there a rule against a sitting president attending the Supreme Court? Posted in the chat. All right. Now, here is someone in the comment section who doesn't think, who essentially thinks that this is all fake outrage. Okay. Now, there's no context. So let me know what you think Railbreaker 31 is saying here. They said, enough with the fake pearl clutching. I don't know whether it's people attacking Congresswoman Susie Lee about her expletive laced comment against a sitting president. Now, another comment came in. Mrs. Red Voter said this. She's been caught, of course, reacting to the fact that her comment was screenshot before she deleted it or before her team deleted it. So Representative Susie Lee represents Nevada's 3rd district. Now, this is what's making this whole thing explode because it's a swing seat that Trump narrowly lost by 2 points in 2024. She's a 4-term incumbent who built her entire brand on bipartisanship. All right. I don't know if what she did was entirely bipartisan. Let me know in the chat, okay? Just pretend I don't know. All right. That brand is on her bio right now. And we're going to see her bio. It's still there. She's the bipartisan queen of the Democrat Party, I guess. What she posted at 1 a.m. essentially isn't a policy disagreement, which is the sad thing about politics today. Nothing is about policy. It is 100% about personal attacks and mudslinging. It was a direct profanity-filled call for the Supreme Court to act against a sitting president. All right. So no matter what you say about this, that's not it's not an argument. Okay. That's a loss of composure on the record at the worst possible moment for a member sitting in a seat that she could lose in the next election. Remember, the midterms are coming up. Now, post one word in the chat. Describe what you just read because it's still on the screen. Okay. Describe what you just read. How do you feel about a sitting member of Congress acting this way? Okay. Now, if you want to be heard on air tonight, please put your comments in the chat. I will read it. I'm going to read everything coming in. Okay, and make sure it comes in under the wire because we're going to be, shutting down within the hour. So I want to get to your chat messages. Now, that's the post, but stick around because what she said after she deleted it is the part that tells you everything about the bipartisan queen of the Democrat Party and essentially about where the Democrat Party is right now. Most of you have seen it, but this is essentially proof positive that what you've been feeling and sensing is actually, I think, right now is policy for the Democrat Party. Now, let's look at the profile, okay, of Susie Lee. This is the profile. It's still on her page. The America's Okay, so here it is. Okay, so I'm just going to calm down. Okay, Susie Lee for Congress, America's number one most bipartisan member of Congress. All right, and now remember that's what she posted. Okay, the number one America's number one bipartisan congressperson posted this. Okay, so um, look, if someone represents you and they speak that way, how do you feel about that? All right. Uh, Payne Gyrick says this. That's wild. It's nice that she apologized for swearing. She's very relatable. Now, is this someone coping or is this someone being sarcastic? All right. Let me know in the comment section. We have Daniel Turner who says, it's a perfect expression for the articulate, measured, and thoughtful Democrat Party. Okay. I think Daniel is just being sarcastic, okay, because um, we all know that this is not the way you speak in polite company. And if you don't know what polite company is, it is where you can bring a child and a child can sit and listen to a conversation without having their ears closed by their parents when someone is speaking in the room. All right. So America's most bipartisan member of Congress isn't so bipartisan because when she's calling for the Supreme Court to verbally or even physically attack a sitting president, that is not something cool. Now, she gave that designation to herself, and that's what makes this all hilarious because, in her own words and on her own profile, she believes that she's being bipartisan by acting this way. Now, someone posted on X a few hours after that post had begun to circulate and asked, "Is Susie Lee okay?" People are assuming that maybe she was drunk and she essentially just went on a tirade. Who knows? Okay, who knows what happened? Now, um, the language that she used, okay, on the account, of course, can't be read in a kindergarten class. So, Nevada voters, you can decide if this is the kind of person you want representing you. Now, if being bipartisan, according to her bio, and using expletives to call for violent verbal attacks or violent physical attacks to be made on a sitting president is what you want in a representative who stands for you, then go ahead and vote her back in. Now, uh, if you're if you're interested in this kind of stream coming every day, because right now we're going to be streaming regularly, like I've been promising over the last couple of streams, please support us by joining our membership at crossroadsirl.com. The link is in the description of this live stream. That's where the serious audience lives. Now, for those of you who have been following me for a while, you're my serious audience, but uh, a membership hedges against censorship. So in case something happens, okay, with the platforms we stream on, we would like to stay in touch with you, and joining our membership is one way you can do that. Now, after she got caught, all right, this Susie Lee decided that she was going to be a nice little girl and apologize. And so this may have been her publicist, okay, typing this. Clearly, my language touched a nerve. My nerve was touched by the attacks on our constitution and its separation of powers. I took an oath to protect and defend it. So I'm trying to understand what she means by this. Maybe if the suspicions are correct and she was actually drunk or something, um, she was having a hangover when she typed this. How is a sitting president sitting and listening to arguments at the Supreme Court, um, an attack on the Constitution and its separation of powers? All right. Uh, Tell me what that means in the chat, right? So she says, I took an oath to protect and defend it. And so the way you protect and defend it is to call for violence against a sitting president. Because that's essentially what this um this comment or this thing you posted actually looks like. Okay. If you're advocating for the Constitution to be upheld, then you put a statement that says, well, Article this in the Constitution states very clearly that no sitting president can attend a hearing at the Supreme Court, especially concerning something that has to do with a policy that he stands strongly for or against. That's the way arguments are made in civilized culture, not screaming and trying to get everyone else riled up to believe that something is happening that actually isn't happening. Now, does she have a point? If you think she has a point that Trump attending the Supreme Court is poses a real constitutional question, then let's know. Let's hear it, okay, in the chat or in the comment section. But Tom Tomcat Brooks says this. Many presidents have attended Supreme Court arguments. Washington, Jefferson, Grant, Taft, but no president has recently done so. So we have Washington, Jefferson, Grant, and Taft on record as attending a Supreme Court argument. There is no statement in the Constitution that says Trump shouldn't be attending a Supreme Court hearing or argument concerning a policy that he's working on. So why is she um, saying the things she's saying? She did not say, now in her apology, she did not say, I shouldn't have posted that. I'm sorry. Okay. She doubled down. She essentially said, I was right to post what I posted because I got my nerves touched. All right. She didn't even apologize for the inappropriate language because, as a public servant, you represent the people who voted you in. Every vote that came to you is represented every time you stand on the podium, on the dais in Congress, or you post something like this on social media. You are representing the people who voted you in. She didn't apologize for the inappropriate language. What she said was, she thinks her language touched a nerve, and that the reason why that she spoke that way was that her nerves were touched. Okay, the nerve that was really touched was hers. She's now flipping it to play the victim. Okay, classic strategy. Okay, um, if you're watching this on the live stream, you can see the the meme that is playing, okay? And then there's someone that's typed a response to her apology that says, "You're a typical Karen." Okay. So she chose a specific rhetorical choice it moves the story from what she says to how people reacted. It's not about what she said anymore. It's about the way you reacted. No, you're reacting wrong. You should be more concerned about how I felt about knowing that Trump was going to be sitting in the holy dais of the Supreme Court. Now, the deletion already told us that she knew she took it too far. But what she did afterwards tells us that she decided that acknowledging that she did something wrong was far worse. So she decided that she was going to defend what she did. She calculated that very clearly, and that's one more thing that Tomcat Brooks mentioned. Okay, Tomcat Brooks is reminding her, look, the premise of your outrage is not accurate. First off, presidents have been attending Supreme Court arguments since George Washington. The statement being made by the Associated Press is not the arbiter of truth. They claim something that was clearly false. We have a number of presidents who sat through Supreme Court arguments, okay, since George Washington. Now, she claims that her nerves were touched by something that has been happening throughout history. So, Susie Lee, are you telling us that sitting presidents carrying out their constitutional duties and doing things that are within their constitutional powers is something that bothers you? Because that appears to be what you're saying. Now, let me know in the chat or in the comment section, does her explanation hold up for you? Yes or no? Does it hold up for you? Is her explanation that her feelings were hurt and that's why she said the things she said, even though she's a sitting member of Congress representing her district, representing people who would feel a certain kind of way about the way she has conducted herself? Let me know in the chat. Now, there's another statement that came up in one of the comments, and I'm going to show it right here on the screen. Okay. Now, I'm going to read this. Okay. So this is House Rule 17, I think it is. And this rule governs how members of Congress are expected to conduct themselves. And if you've been following Congress for the last couple of years, or the last decade, you'll find out that Congress has devolved into a cesspool of profanity, people having intercourse in the days of Congress and filming it. Like the standards of Congress have so devolved that it is shocking. It is crazy, it's embarrassing, and it is just crazy how bad things have gotten. So let me read the relevant section from the screenshot. A member of Congress should avoid using offensive language or words that are otherwise deemed unparliamentary. Using such language is known as engaging in personalities. These actions violate the rules of the House and are subject to a point of order. So that is what you have on the books. Okay, so people would pretend that these laws don't exist, like when you have the ethics board ruling on a congresswoman who stole $5 million of donations, or not donations, of funds that were meant for disaster relief, and they were funneled into her campaign funds, which eventually used for personal. It's crazy. Okay. So we have things like that happening, and members of Congress pretending like those rules don't exist. And then eventually, when they catch up with them, they have to apply these rules. So answer in the comments or in the chat, should Congress police what members post on their personal accounts? But again, what they say to the press, what they say to tabloids, and what they say on cable news, should these things be policed? Because when a member of Congress actively says things that are wrong, or uses profanity, should these things be policed by Congress? That's a real question. Now, Steve Host. Oh my goodness, what's going on? I thought I'm okay. I'm just going to read off what I have here. Okay, Steve Host, um, essentially is right here on the screen, and he says, Speaker Johnson. I think okay, I can try and yeah. So it's zoomed in, so you can read it too. Speaker Johnson is potty mouthed. So sorry, Speaker Johnson is potty mouthed Representative Lee in violation of House Rule 17. Her profile shows she is writing in her role as a representative of the People's House. In any civil arena, her words are vulgar and inflammatory. Congresspersons must avoid using offensive language or words otherwise deemed unparliamentary. Such Using such language is known as engaging in personalities. Now, put in the chat or in the comments section, Congress people that have done this, who have engaged in personalities, whether when they appear on cable news or anywhere else, or even when they give interviews to the press. These actions violate the rules of the House and are subject to a point of order. So that's what this commenter said. Right. The National Republican Congressional Committee posted something which I'm not going to show on the screen. They called her Nevada's fool. Okay, so that's the campaign arm of the House Republicans, the people who will be running against her in 2026 during the midterms. So she essentially has provided them with a statement, a screenshot, and a deleted post. Essentially, she's launched their campaign against her for them, and this is a district which Trump won by 2 points. So we're going to be looking to see if she wins this upcoming midterms, because what she did might be one of the things that they will be using against her during the midterm campaigns. Um, so the NRCC doesn't need to convince every voter. It just needs to convince a handful that believe that doing stuff like this is wrong. And in a seat this close, they need to move just a few thousand. And I think there'll be people who feel like what she did was actually unconscionable. So now, a viewer, this viewer here, or this person who read her comments and is posting on X, says is asking Speaker Johnson whether she violated House Rule 17, and that's something that I would like to see answered. That question now is public, and whether Speaker Johnson answers it, that's the next chapter of this show. Speaker Johnson is now being put on the spot. Let's see what the Republicans do. And historically, Republicans don't take action, in this way. If it were a Democrat, of course, the news media would run with it, and you would have Democrats upon Democrats calling for them to be called to order, possibly censored. They would run with it, but it's been conveniently kept out of the news cycle. If I didn't do this video, would you have known this happened? All right, would you have known? So tell me in the comment section or in the chat, should Speaker Johnson act? Yes or no? So so what do you think? Did she violate a house rule from what we read? Okay, or do you feel comfortable with your representatives using profanity regularly, like we've been seeing happening on Congress and interviews and press conferences? Like, you've seen that happening regularly. Is this something that you want to see regularly from your representatives? She gave an excuse. She cussed and she called for violence against the president because she had her feelings hurt because a sitting president was doing what a sitting president is allowed to do: go to a Supreme Court argument and sit and listen to it. Okay. Is there anything in the Constitution that says that she can't? George Washington attended hearings like that. So why is that a problem? So is she right about her outrage? Drop your verdict in the comments or in the live chat. So remember that most of our content lives on crossroadsirl.com. That's where everything lives. And please consider joining our membership because we're going to be doing this regularly. We're going to be promoting most of our content that can't stay on YouTube. Is all going to be on crossroadsirl.com. Well, thank you for hanging out with us this afternoon, and we'll see you on the next live stream.